That Cast Episode 2, recorded on May 29th, 2017.
Did you hear about the one guy who sued his date for texting during Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
No, that sounds amazing.
This guy went on a date with a girl, and she was texting during the movie, and so he sued her for like the price. It was like $17.79 or something. It was like the price of the movie ticket and like the Uber he paid for.
How do you even sue somebody for that little amount of money?
I don't know, but I feel like he probably won the case.
That's dumb.
You're dumb.
Well, on that note, I think we should say welcome to That Cast.
Welcome. We need to really address something here. We done goofed up.
We did. Well, we sort of did, but I don't know. It was in different ways. The last That Cast that we recorded, you're never going to hear because my recording software screwed up and that guy had his microphone on mute, but Discord still picks up muted microphones, but his recording software obviously doesn't pick up a muted microphone.
So what we're trying to say here is we don't want it to sound forced, but we want to bring up things we talked about in our first attempt to record it.
But so I mean, like, technically this is the third podcast, but officially it's the second.
Yes. And also, because we're re-bringing these topics up, it might be a bit shorter than our normal podcast.
Well, that just means that the people listening will have an extra minute to do whatever irrelevant thing that they're doing.
Like, click unsubscribe to the That Cast button.
Exactly. So there's a movie that's been advertised recently based on books, I think, right? They were books first.
A lot of movies are based on books, but yes.
The one that I know you're going to be talking about is called Captain Underpants, right?
I feel like, I mean, you jumped straight into it, but I feel like it would have been better if we built it up. Like, this movie comes out on June 2nd. It's about a superhero because Wonder Woman comes out the exact same day.
Oh.
So I was going to make it kind of sound like that, but then, actually be Captain Underpants. But it's too late. We're already here. We're in the deep end of the underpants.
Let's go. All right. Yeah, so it's not Wonder Woman. Get bamboozled.
I think Wonder Woman might actually be good, though. Don't know. I mean, the last bunch of DC Universe movies have been pretty crap, but Wonder Woman's looking promising. But did you know they have it set up to fail, that guy?
How do they have it set up to fail?
Because the first in a very long time of the main protagonist superhero is a female, and it's also being directed by a female, and there's not many female directors out there, at least, like, famous ones. And Warner Brothers purposely set it up, like, I don't know if you noticed this, that guy, but there has been very little advertising for Wonder Woman.
Well, I would not have noticed, because there hasn't been a whole lot of advertising.
Yeah. Like, there's more advertising for the Justice League movie that's coming out in, like, August, I think, than there has been for Wonder Woman. And that's because they want it to be, basically for it to purposely not get good sales, and then they go, see, look, it's a woman movie. We can't lie. The numbers are there.
Wow, that's dumb.
And I guess there's actual articles and stuff with actual interviews and stuff that kind of say that. I didn't really read into it, but I've seen enough on Facebook. It's kind of like when you look up if vaccinations cause autism.
You get a million results that say no and then one that says yes.
Yep, and that's the one you pick. So obviously it's 100% true. So don't take it with a grain of salt. Take it as it is. Full frontal, face value. The truth.
But yeah, the other movie that's coming out on the exact same day.
The movie I'm actually more excited about.
Of course, Captain Underpants. It's got a male character. It's gonna do great. I'm not sexist.
Well, I guess if the main hero in Wonder Woman was running around in just her underwear, I'm sure more men would be interested.
That would be a much more popular movie, but for very different reasons.
Hey, we're just laying out the facts here. Don't blame us.
Yeah. Oh, no. I honestly, I probably still would not go to see it, regardless of that or not. But I'm just saying it would be a more popular movie.
So, Captain Underpants has a very special place in my childhood. I read all the books. The movie is coming out, and I'm quite excited. And it's heavily based. That they basically took the first 4 books and condensed it into one movie.
Basically, they're not doing a Lord of the Rings or a Harry Potter and having one movie per book or multiple movies per book.
Yeah, that's kind of okay, because I guess it means you're not really going to fully know how the story plays out. Like, okay, you can kind of guess how the ending is because it's a children's film. You know, oh god, Captain Underpants is dead. What kind of movie is this? Imagine that kind of twist. So they have the first 4 books condensed into one movie, which will be interesting. It looks like there's a lot of like new jokes that aren't in the books from my memory's sake anyways. And the biggest thing I mentioned last time we tried to record this podcast was the theme song was released, and that was created by the one and only Weird Al Yankovic.
Well, did he write it or did he just sing it?
Don't know. He definitely sang it, and I would assume he definitely had some, if he didn't write it, he definitely had some creative input on it because it's Weird Al.
Of course.
I was kind of upset about it because I'm like, this song sounds pretty good, but it was like a trailer music video. So during the song, they had lines from the movie and jokes that went over top the song. It kind of broke you away from the song as you were watching it, and I was kind of upset about that. Funnily enough, a couple days later, on one of Weird Al's channels, because he has 2 of them, and I can't remember which one it's on, he uploaded the actual song without, like, any of the background noise.
Oh, cool. Like, how long is it?
2 minutes and 15 seconds.
That's a decent length for a theme song.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good superhero theme song.
So I'd say moving on to, unless you have more movies to talk about.
I heard the new Pirates of the Caribbean movie was absolutely awful.
I have heard mixed things about that, and I have not gone to see it yet. Like, people on Twitter, a couple people that I follow are like, oh, wow, this was a great movie, but then, like, reviews are terrible, and then a few more people were like, oh my god, this was terrible. So I'm not really sure what to think. I didn't really fully enjoy the 4th Pirates of the Caribbean, but the 5th one here does have more of our familiar characters from the first trilogy, so maybe that's sort of gonna help it. I don't know if it has Pintle and Ragetti, but if it has Pintle and Ragetti in it, the 2 idiot pirate guys, it's got bonus points in my book because those guys are the best.
One of the things I heard a lot, either A, they should have just left it as a trilogy, or B, which I think would have been the better option, but it's obviously far too late now in this universe. They should have just left Orlando Bloom and whatever her name was characters as
Keira
is.
Knightley.
At the end of the first movie, just leave them there. Don't go back to them. And have each movie be completely separate with Captain Jack on miscellaneous adventures.
Just a Jack movie. I think that would be good. The parts that I did like about 4 was that A, it was a Jack movie, B, it had Gibbs in it because I like Gibbs and he's just like ridiculously loyal first mate who's really good at being a pirate, you know, good at sailing a ship, good at micromanaging a crew and stuff like that. I think he's a cool character. I'm not so happy about bringing Barbossa back for the 4th film. Nothing against Barbossa, he's a badass character just like all the rest of them, but like, I don't know if it was really necessary.
He was really old in that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. And it seemed kind of strange that he was a privateer for the Navy.
Yeah.
Like, Barbossa was a pirate. And I understand that a lot of pirates, you know, historically got contracted by the British or the French or whoever to be what they called privateers, they essentially just continued being pirates, but they just did not pillage the certain kingdom that hired them. But I can't picture Barbossa doing that.
Yeah, it is difficult. I think I've seen the movie once, and the only part I really liked in it is at the very end when they're talking about trying to get the black pearl out of the bottle.
Yeah.
And Jack's like, we need 3 nuns, a horde, and a goat.
Yeah, I know. And Gibbs is just like, I know a man with a goat. And Jack's like,
exactly.
Good, I can go like this. And he does like the weird thing with his hands because it had to be certain gesture.
Yeah, it was. How long was that movie? 2 hours? Totally worth it.
It was pretty worth it. I also like the end of, I think it might have been the end of At World's End, the 3rd one, where Jack brings his 2 girlfriends from Tortuga out to his boat. Or maybe, I don't know if that's the end. Yeah, I think it is. The end of the Black Pearl, actually, the very first one. He brings them out to his boat on the dock and he's like, yeah, of course you can go on my boat. And then it's just Gibbs in a rowboat and he's asleep. And they're like, is that the Black Pearl? And he's like, no, my ship is large and grand and huge-ish and gone. Why is my ship gone? And then they point and like Barbossa stole it.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, oh. And then they just both deck him and he falls into the boat with Gibbs.
Yep.
Oh, man. Disney knows how to make good characters. I'm going to move into music next. So first of all, I want to mention that when the last time we recorded the podcast, I mentioned that there was a song on the radio that I constantly heard every time I turned it on, just by chance, and it just got on my nerves. I would like to point out that I have not heard that song since. The song was Cecilia by Simon and Garfunkel, but I haven't heard that since, and it's not annoying to me anymore. I can probably listen to that song again. But the song that has still been stuck in my head in a good way is Goodbye Stranger by Supertramp. I'm still in love with that song for some reason. I'm sure that'll get over it, and I'll have another song stuck in my head for next podcast. Do you have anything musically related to add to this?
Musically related.
Well, I mean, I suppose sort of you figured out about Weird Al singing the Captain Underpants thing, and you found like the full version, so that's sort of a musically related thing.
Yep, and like last podcast, I'm still into the good old Eurobeat, although I've been super lazy and not downloaded the playlist I made on my YouTube account to download.
Along with Weird Al doing the Captain Underpants movie, I believe it was Mike that sent it to me earlier this week in Discord. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was Mike. He sent a version of an early song. It was Yoda.
Yeah, Weird Al's been releasing a bunch of songs that were like either demos like Yoda or songs that were never released. Like, I don't know if you listened to Pac-Man, the parody of Taxman from the Beatles.
No, I don't think I have.
That's actually a very good one. Yeah, it was never officially released, and he put it on his YouTube channel, and you're going to get a copy of it when you get your fantastic accordion box set, which I couldn't pre-order because they didn't take PayPal credit.
That's weird.
It was very mean of them.
Obviously, since we are nerds, we're going to go into video games. I don't know if you have any video games that you've been playing recently, but I do have something to talk about because I was introduced to a video game when I went over to your house for dinner last night or the night before. I don't remember.
A couple nights ago.
We actually played 2 video games. One of them was, Crawler?
Crawl,
my bad.
I really enjoyed that game and I want to play more of it, but you need more people. I can't just play it by myself. It's best played with 4, and playing it with 3 is still fun, but I think anything less than that, it's just not going to be as entertaining as it is.
It definitely wouldn't have been as fun with just 2 people. So we played with that guy, myself, and our friend Jeff, and basically it's like a roguelike sort of, and it's a dungeon crawler. And there's only one of you that's alive at one time, and the other 2 are ghosts.
Ooh, they like flail their hands in the air.
It's pretty funny. It's a very pixely game, but it was pretty funny. And the ghosts can haunt certain objects and interact with certain objects to kill the player. And whoever gets the final blow on the person who's currently playing will get revived, and then they'll start playing as the human. And you got to get to the bottom and then defeat a giant like squid boss thing. And apparently Jeff and I won.
Yeah.
I mean, you were alive for most of it because you're like the most experienced with controllers, and you're like more experienced with those type of games.
It's because I couldn't defeat the boss. Because of that, the boss went on to destroy the rest of the world.
So for some reason, even though Joe was clearly the best player, Jeff and I still won.
Well, it's because that boss was freaking ridiculous.
I know. Yeah, and the other game that we ended up playing was Injustice 2, which, as far as I could tell, is like Street Fighter, but with DC characters.
I'd like to state that, yes, Street Fighter, but a better comparison for some people would be Mortal Kombat, because it's made by the guys who did Mortal Kombat.
I really wasn't very sure about anything about this game. I saw very little about it, but apparently that guy and Jeff had been playing it a lot.
We played the first game a lot. I played the crap out of it when it first came out because the story intrigued the crap out of me. Basically, the main story in that game is Superman snaps and kills the Joker and goes on to create this regime and rule the world with an iron fist to keep it safe. And Batman calls in the heroes from a different universe to help him deal with Superman. And it was a really great story. And then this game came out and there's a lot of great characters, and I wanted to see what they did with the story. Wasn't as intriguing, but the character development was incredible.
Yeah, you specifically said that one of the parts that you liked about it is at the beginning of every engagement with different characters, there's a bunch of different opening remarks.
Yes, that is true.
When the characters meet each other, there's like a whole bunch of different voice lines depending on which characters you choose. And if you choose like Batman and Superman, when they meet, they're going to exchange their words before they fight, but it's not going to be the same thing every time, even if you continue to pick Batman and Superman. fan?
It depends on the characters, actually, I found. Because, for example, my main character is Blue Beetle, and I really enjoy him. But, for example, when you fight against Deadshot, who you may be familiar with as a character from Suicide Squad, I've only had one conversation between the two of them. It's like the same thing every time. Blue Beetle shows up, says, "Do you have any hobbies besides killing?" And he goes, "Nope." And then he goes, "Huh. Guess this will be easy for me then."
So I watched the first few rounds, and then Jeff handed me his controller because he needed to go use the bathroom or something, and I was like, oh, I'm really bad at stuff like this, but I wanted to play as Mr. Freeze, because he's he's a DC character, but there is no Mr. Freeze.
No official Mr. Freeze.
But there is a guy called Captain Cold, which apparently that guy says is one of the worst characters, which made me like him even more.
He really is. He's very, very bad. His moves are just so slow is the problem. His special takes forever to charge up.
In a game about fighting and stuff, it's better to be quick, probably.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's always going to be someone out there who's good at fighting as that character and could probably wipe the floor with me while I'm playing as Blue Beetle. But still, he's not the best.
But see, the thing is, I can officially say that I have a 100% win rate as Captain Cold because I've played one game of Injustice 2. I played as Captain Cold, and that guy let me beat the crap out of him because I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, I went super easy on him. Towards the end, I actually did try to beat you, but you just had me in like a corner and kept pounding on me, so I couldn't actually beat you.
At the very end, see, the thing is, I've got this cold gun that shoots out like ice and stuff, but I couldn't figure out what the buttons did, so all I did was kept left hooking you, which is the most basic punch. And then I built up enough to get my special move, and then I just used that, and it killed you. It was like the cheapest victory.
But you knock out all those tiny little behind-the-scene details, and you have 100% win rate as your best character, Captain Cold.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Nobody else in the world can probably say that.
No, there's probably somebody else who did the exact same thing as you and can say that.
I'm just trying to have an original idea here. I'm sorry. It's 2017. Those don't exist anymore.
Exactly.
We're on a podcast in 2017 talking about nerd stuff. Not like that's been done before. I'm going to move into TV really quickly because I just have something that I want to mention. I saw it at Walmart the other day. A TV box set of the entirety of the series Hey Arnold. Do you remember that show, and did you ever watch that show?
That was one of the shows I think I wasn't allowed to watch growing up.
Why? There's nothing wrong with Hey Arnold.
But there's two things. One, I watched a lot of TV as a kid. Like, a lot of TV to the point where my mom and dad... Like, I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob growing up. Like, I couldn't watch SpongeBob until my sister was, like, 6 or 7, and she's like, I want to watch SpongeBob. And I was like, I'm not allowed to watch SpongeBob. And Mom and Dad are like, you can watch SpongeBob if you want. Yeah, I know. Rough childhood. But I watched a lot of TV, so I was very limited in some of the things I couldn't watch. But there's one episode of Hey Arnold in particular that I remember. I don't know if you've seen it or if you've gotten to it, but there's one where like 3 of the kids, one's like the bully guy, they all moon the professor, or not the professor, the principal, so their butts are shown, and I wouldn't doubt if that was like the one episode my parents saw and they said no.
I was gonna say there's nothing wrong with Hey Arnold. It's just, it's like the mundane life of a kid who lives in the city, but it's just interesting enough that you'll want to watch it.
Yeah.
Well, I've been enjoying it. I've been through the first 2 discs of my... I don't even know how many disc set this is. There's 99 episodes. There's like 40 hours here. 16 discs I've got. But of course, like the most popular one that people remember is the one about Stoop Kid, the kid who lives on the stoop and never leaves it. And that was one of the first episodes. But that's like the main thing that I remember about Hey Arnold. But the reason that prompted me to buy this, because I saw it at Walmart, is because apparently Nickelodeon is doing a Hey Arnold TV movie later on this year, either in the fall or in the winter sometime.
Yeah, I heard that too. They're doing a lot of things like that where they're either trying to see if they can revitalize the show or, for some better purposes, like with Samurai Jack, see if they can end the show. Because Hey Arnold was one of those things where everybody wants to know if Arnold figures out what happens to his parents, basically.
And that's what the TV movie's going to be about. And one more quick thing. You know how Arnold wears a kilt?
Yes.
He doesn't actually wear a kilt.
He doesn't.
No. It is revealed that is actually a red plaid button-up shirt underneath his sweater.
What?
Yeah, I know, right? He wears pants, and then he wears a red plaid button-up shirt under a sweater, but the shirt isn't tucked in, so it comes out on the bottom.
It looks like a perfect kilt, though.
I know, but he's also got the collar up by his neck that matches, and that makes so much more sense now that it's a button-up shirt. And I'm just like, no, this is a lie. I can't believe
No,
this.
he wears a kilt. I don't care if it's true or not. I'm not listening to you, that guy. Go away.
All right, fine. Arnold wears a kilt.
I'll accept that he wears a plaid skirt over that he has a plaid shirt that's not a kilt.
That's just part of the characterization now. It's just like, no, he has a kilt. That's it. So it's about 9 o'clock right now, and I was closing my shade because it's dark out. You know, I live right across from a doctor's office, right? It's Memorial Day, so the doctor's office, I don't know if it was open at all today, but regardless, it's closed now, and there's one car over there with the taillights on, but not the headlights. And I swear, like, people just chill out in that parking lot, and I really want to know what they're doing. Because there's a part around the back where it's kind of like there's a building on one side and there's a bunch of trees and a fence on the other, and then there's a dumpster in the back, so there's not like a whole lot of visibility back there, and that would be like the perfect spot for a drug deal to go down. And people go back there too, like the cars go back there, so I'm always wondering that. I'm just like, but this is Glenville, nothing happens here.
If anything, there might be like an illegal Mountain Dew exchange going on back there.
They're like, oh my god, dude, did you get the Dew SA? I think that's what they call it, the new summer Mountain Dew that's got like 5 flavors mixed all into one, which isn't that bad, I'll be honest. I had it.
I didn't really like it. It was okay.
It wasn't that bad. But yeah, they're like, yeah, I got the Mountain Dew. I feel like that's what's going on back there.
I'll trade you a Baja Blast for it. So, you think you know the Emoji Movie? A movie starring emojis, with a story about a character who doesn't like himself and goes on a quest to make himself how he wants, but most likely is going to discover that he's actually perfectly fine the way he is, because that's how these movies go. But what if? What if the movie was better than that? What if it starred a character you never thought you'd see in a children's animated film?
Last time when we lost the recording, that guy and I had the fantastic idea of changing the plot of the Emoji Movie. Because we know what the plot's gonna be.
You look it up on IMDb and it says, like, Gene is an emoji. He's like a multi-expressional emoji who just wants to be a single emoji, and he goes on a quest to change himself. You've seen the movie before. Can't think of a specific example.
You know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a be yourself type movie. Like Cars 2 was definitely a spy movie, but underneath the moral is a be yourself thing. Mater learns that he doesn't need to change. He's like, no, McQueen says if other people don't like you for who you are, then it's their loss. They need to change. You don't need to change who you are. We still like you for who you are. Point is, the Emoji Movie would be so much better if there was a character in it.
You may have already guessed. What if there was a Hitler emoji?
Amazing. Okay, so I'm not a Nazi. I'm not condoning any Nazi behavior. But I think a story with a Hitler emoji would be hilarious because he wouldn't fit in anywhere. And all the other emojis would be like hating him for everything.
And he also thinks that just the regular yellow-faced emojis are the superior emojis.
Of course, no okay hands emoji, no flame emoji, no 100 emoji,
no poo emoji, which actually we did mention last time. The only good redeemable thing about the base Emoji Movie, not this new one we're suggesting, is that Patrick Stewart does voice the poo emoji. And, shortly after the movie comes out on DVD, I'm going to go to YouTube and type in all Patrick Stewart poo emoji scenes from the Emoji Movie. Watch those, and that is the extent of the Emoji Movie that I'm going to watch.
I don't know if I want to watch it or not. Maybe just for science. just to say that I did, but I don't know. I feel like it's just going to be terrible. I'll have to wait until some ratings come out, and I'm sure some of my friends from the internet will tell me about it and be like, oh, yeah, it was okay, or it was terrible, or whatever.
It was lit.
That's like the Ryan review. Hey, Ryan, how was the Emoji movie? It was lit.
In a good way or a bad way? In the lit way.
In the lit way.
So, yeah, we came up with this fantastic idea of a Hitler emoji trapping all the not yellow-faced emojis, torturing them. We came up with basically horrible Nazi-based jokes.
We are horrible people, but it's been 70 or 80 years, so I think we've passed the too soon point.
People joke about it all the time.
So basically, the Hitler Emoji movie is definitely a better plot than the normal Emoji movie.
And I mean, the plot we gave you is nowhere near as strong as the plot we had on the original recording. And you're probably still thinking, yeah, I'd probably go see the Hitler Emoji movie over this Emoji movie. So
honestly, we could flesh out the plot some more if we brainstormed it, but it's never gonna go anywhere, and it would never be anything more than just an amusing story. But just think about it yourself. Use your own imagination. Stop listening to podcasts on the internet and go out and do something with your life.
No, don't listen to the podcast. Just put the 2 episodes we gave you on repeat. Listen to them over and over again because you love them so much, and just hope that a new episode shows up soon so you can add some more to your regime.
But the other thing I think we mentioned last time before is there are no more original plot lines for movies, and the ones that are all underdog ones, and they don't ever do very well. But I'm telling you, if somebody made a Hitler Emoji movie, somebody needs to get on that and make a movie like that, though. A sort of original, like I said, the Emoji movie is sort of original, but it is based off of emojis. But I think that would be enough of an original concept where somebody could make a Hitler Emoji movie. And if you do, I would like 1% of the movie's earnings.
I just want to get into the movie for free, please.
Would you like a voice role in the movie? Which emoji would you play? Background emoji number 17?
Yeah, something like that. Because I don't use emojis, period. The only time I use emojis is when I do the keyboard ones.
Yeah, and it automatically does it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the colon capital D, or the colon close parenthesis or something as a smiley or a laughing face, and then the program just automatically is like, oh, you mean this? And then it puts in the emoji for you.
I mean, I guess if I could be any voice in the Hitler Emoji movie, is there a God emoji? That one would be pretty cool to voice.
I'd be Winston Churchill emoji.
Is there a chainsaw emoji?
Is there a Bruce Campbell emoji? Oh no, no!
It's how the Hitler emoji falls. The Bruce Campbell emoji comes in.
The Bruce Campbell emoji saves the day.
It's the last 10 minutes of the movie too. It's a 2-hour movie of the Hitler emoji being a dick, rising to power, and then, just before the real world, they're like, we need to just delete all emojis. All of a sudden, the Bruce Campbell emoji comes in, kicks his butt.
So the real world makes a Bruce Campbell emoji, and it's the classic, yellow face emoji, but it's got a chin.
And the hair.
And he goes and talks to the Hitler emoji, and the Hitler emoji is just like, oh my god, he's so handsome. That chin, it's so perfect. My mustache can't compete.
9. Oh, and then it could be a perfect Bruce Campbell one-liner where Hitler goes 9. He's like, oh, 9? You want 9 of me? And 9 Bruce Campbell emojis appear. He's like, I can't handle it. And then he explodes.
Yeah, and then they just delete the code and all of the concept art and everything for the Hitler emoji, and he no longer exists.
And then, they go, thanks, Bruce Campbell emoji. And he's like, you're welcome, insignificant emojis. Now I'm off to my next adventure. Bruce Campbell emoji, away! He flies off, never to be seen again.
And then shortly thereafter, the Bruce Campbell emoji gets deleted, and it's just it's a legend now. It's just a legend that you tell your kids and your grandkids. You're like, oh my god, I was there when the Hitler emoji was destroyed by the Bruce Campbell emoji. And they're like, Grandpa, what's a Bruce Campbell? And you're like, sorry, Sonny, I'm gonna have to disown you now.
I'm gonna have to put you down. Trust me, this is better than living your life without knowing who Bruce Campbell
Can't you
is.
just tell me? No. You should have known by now. I'm really disappointed in your father. I'm going to have to put him down next.
Oh, we are the worst kind of people.
I think that's it for this installment of That Cast, the technical third but officially second installment of That Cast. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope that you didn't lose too many brain cells while listening to it.
Hopefully our next podcast will be even better because we won't be trying to re-talk about things we already talked about.
It'll be a little bit more natural. We tried to be natural. We talked about a lot of new stuff this time as well, but now it's time for us to go.
I'm that guy,
And I'm that guy.
also known as Joe Thunder,
And SOENJAY.
and you've been listening to That Cast.
So long.
Bye!